Hey, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello, gang. How are you? So glad you're here today. Hello, hello. Hey, good morning, Karen. Glad you're here. Hope you're having a good day. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. We just got done with our Jonah Bible study that we're working our way through. We were talking also about the prophets, so it's a little more expansive, but man, we are grinding through it. We got about 5 verses per an hour, so it's even a short book like Jonah. It's funny to me how we end up. So, hey, Linda, good morning. Hey, Dottie. Here with Dottie, 90 today. Oh my goodness. Dottie is 90 today, everybody. That's crazy. Good morning. Hey, hey. It is a beautiful summer day. It is. Good morning, Donna. How are you today? Hope you're great. That stuff here. Boy, all kinds of stuff happening. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Well, it is. Good morning, Vicki. Great to see you. Hope you're doing all right. All right, everybody. Good morning. It is the 29th day of June. It's almost July. We are coming up to the 4th of July this weekend and at 11/11, and I'm glad you're here. Hey, it is Dottie's 90th birthday today, and she is with us watching right now. And so, if I find out it's your birthday and you're going to get sung happy birthday. So, Dottie, this is for you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dottie. Happy birthday to you. There you go. 90. That is an achievement. That's fantastic. I hope you eat all the cake today. Like, seriously. Don't let anybody else have any. I hope it's glorious. That's so awesome. Blessings to you, and thanks for being with us and blessing us with your presence this morning. That's a gift too. So, good morning, everybody. It is another 11/11, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're with us. I'm glad Dottie's here, and please continue to. I hope that all will wish you a great happy birthday today. Let's. This morning, I want to talk. I want to talk about the beginning of Peter's second letter to the church, and so he begins. This is verses 3 and 4 of the first chapter. So he has this greeting, and then he says right out of the gate, boom. This is what he says. He says, "His divine power, Christ's divine power, has given us everything we need." Christ's divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and goodness. Through these, He has given us His very great and precious promises. Very great and precious promises. So that through them, you may participate in the divine nature, having escaped the corruption of the world caused by evil desires. This notion of participating in the divine nature, to participate, what is it? To participate in the divine nature. And this promise, that there's a promise that we will participate in the divine nature. Henry David Thoreau says this. He says, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become in achieving your goals. I'm going to say that again. I would hear, because this is what we're going to be on about today. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. You know, we are people that we got all the things that we want. We want this, we want that. We want all this stuff to work out. We want, a frappuccino. We want, Taylor Swift to sing at her birthday. We want all kinds of stuff. We've got all these things that we want, all these desires that are at work, and we can channel those into goals, into things that we will seek to attain, seek to create, seek to build, seek to know, seek to get in this world. And they don't just have to be things. They can be ways of being. They can be any of this. And that those goals are great. They're awesome. They're going to take us places. They're going to get us things. But what is more and what is richer than the attaining of the goal, the winning of the trophy, is actually who we become and what we become in the effort of achieving those goals. I think we can't, particularly in our world today, we're struggling to look at the world and through all the different ways in which it's changing, all the things that are coming to us, all the court cases, all the different stuff that's going on around us. We think it's like that's the goal. The goal has to be that it has to be this way. It has to be. We got to make sure it's this way. And yet, and I'm not saying don't effort for our goals. I'm saying that what is the true promise of this is not that we're going to get all the things. The true promise is that we are going to participate in the divine nature. And that participating in the divine nature, being wired in such a way, being created in such a way, being molded, being shaped, being strengthened to participate in the order of things as they are, allows us to know the great treasure of what it is, of what is promised us in divine power and in divine preciousness. There's an old story of a guy that he receives a word from God. That in the stream there is this giant boulder, there's this giant rock, and he receives this word that there's a great treasure underneath this rock, and he spends his days trying to figure out how to overturn this boulder. He goes down, and for days he'll push against the boulders with incredible strength, and he just can't seem to budge it. He'll figure in his mind all these different ways of levering and working and shoveling around the rock, and he still can't budge it, but is convinced still there's this great treasure under the rock. He gets discouraged, and he goes home, and yet the call to achieve this goal, a call to move the rock, still comes upon him, and day in and day out, and week in and week out, he continues to go down and push against the rock, trying to figure out how to move it so that the great treasure underneath it is revealed. Finally, in great discouragement and in great sadness, he falls to his knees. And he says, God, why have you given me this vision? Why have you given me this goal that is before me? That I might to push against this rock that will not move to come and get my feet wet every day as I stand in the stream and and seek to move it one way or another, and that in all of my efforts and all of my years, nothing moves and nothing changes. And at that moment, in his desperation, in the midst of the stream, he receives the vision. That the angel of the Lord comes to him, and Christ speaks to him and says, my call for you to move the rock, my call for you to push against the hardness of this life, my call for you to seek the great treasure that is underneath there was never to fully attain the treasure. It was to strengthen you. It was to place in you the desire and the movement of towards those goals and towards the great promises that I have for you. Look at you. Look at your body. Your arms and your back and your legs have become strengthened beyond measure, more than any gym ever could have pulled off. Look at what you have done in and day out, trusting and hearing my word and coming from your cabin down into the wetness of the stream and doing your work, that you have become disciplined and smart and whole and strengthened and good. My goal for you was never to move the rock. For I am God. If I want the rock moved, the rock will cease to be. I want your character formed. I want your life strengthened. I want you to become a great vessel so that you may be able to participate in the divine nature of things, so that you might be able to participate in the goodness and glory that I have for you, and that you might be able to hold that and participate in the life, both in this life and the next, in eternal. And that in doing so, it is the escaping the corruption of the world from all of its evil desires and from all of its evilness. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. You know, we say a lot about participation trophies. Everybody, you know, as I just say participation trophy, I bet there's a whole bunch of eye rolls out there right now that, like, oh God, like, why, these kids today, they're so weak, or the millennials, they just got all these participation trophies and they're just ruined. The first instance of a participation trophy in America was given in February of 1922. The participation trophy as a thing is actually at least 100 years old. We know this, that we have an incredible bias to always say, these kids today. Every generation does it. There are countless letters to the editor that were submitted in the 1930s about how, as America was ramping up to war, or in the early 40s, about how this generation of kids will never be able to do what we did in World War I, that they're just too soft. This trope has always been out there. And that I have actually become a fan of the participation trophy. Because what the participation trophy tells us is that you were a part of something and that you continue to be a part of it. That in a world where actually, us, and God bless these screens. I mean, you and I are able to keep in touch. We're able to do the things we're able to do. There's goodness and greatness in them. But at the same time, there's this way in which we are disembodied in them as well. And I think kids are more often susceptible to this than anything these days, is that they don't get the chance to that the actual using of your body, the actual the doing of the things, the actual pushing on the rock of their own lives can sometimes be really interrupted. And there's a lot of things that would push in the. But the participation trophy tells us actually that those kids are deserving of love and support and patience, and that yes, they were a part of this thing. Doesn't mean they won all the things. Doesn't mean they were number one and they need not effort. But rather that I think that it's not about the that we just need to figure out how to lose well. Although that's a thing, and that's important. But it is rather that we need to learn to participate well. To show up to the people that we love and that we share in our life and really participate in them. To truly participate with what it is to be a mom, dad, son, daughter, husband, wife, employee, employer, supervisor, supervised, to truly show up to that engagement, to show up to the rock in our life and to push on it with all our effort, to truly earn our participation trophy in this world, to lean into life rather than have it simply slip by and drift away. The divine power has given us everything. This is Peter's promise. The divine power has given us everything. Everything we need, we've got it. Now, you may be sick right now. You may be failing right now. You may be unemployed right now. You may be broken right now. You may have your heart hurting right now. And yet that's part of what it is to be in the river. That's part of what it is to push on the rock. That we will have our days in which there are calluses. We will have our days in which we are sprained and we are hurt, in which we are, and yet the divine power is giving us everything we need to call upon, to begin and to continue and to lean into the pushing on the own rock of our existence, and to in that process have owned our divine promises and our precious of the preciousness that God has in store for us. God's invitation is not that we get everything right, that we achieve all our goals, that we check off all the blocks on our bucket list. I've spent a lot of time with people at end of life, and very few of them have all the blocks checked. Every life has a way in which might be one more thing that could have been done, or one more thing that could have been, or things that didn't work out the way they wanted them to. But that was never the point of their life. It's never the point of our life to acquire the stuff, to accomplish the things, to have the experiences. But it is ours to push on the rock. It is ours to participate fully in a life that is done in community with other people in our lives, and which is done in association, which is done in the precious promises of God's love for us, and that in it we might be shaped in such a way to participate in the divine nature as it is. It's what we're made for. It's what we were called into this life to be and to do. And so remember, if you're getting hung up on the way things are going, if you're getting hung up on what you got done today or didn't get done today, if you're getting hung up on all on the achievement of your goals, know that at the end of the day, the things you'll get from having all those things knocked out and all those things done is not nearly as important as what you'll get from leaning into the goals in the first place, from participating in the life in which you have. And if I could give you all a trophy, I would. That I truly believe that in showing up here and showing up to the people in your life, really showing up, in continuing to move and walk and love and be in this world without hiding behind a screen or hiding behind, any number of ways in which we can do it. And not to say there won't be some days like that, but to wade into the stream of our life, to push on the rock with the best that we have, will bring us greater treasures than anything we would ever find under the rock. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. There will not be an 11:11 tomorrow. We will be lifting up one of our great saints here, Brad Hadley. It will be memorialized at 11 o'clock here. If you can make it, I truly hope you can. He's, we use the term saint of the church, but he truly was a saint of the church. In not just because he's a great guy, but he lived his life in this true and beautiful way of bringing song and participation and joy and goodness and wisdom and strength to each day and to each part. And that it was a privilege for me to have spent some time elbow to elbow with him. And so we are going to lift him up and promote him to heaven tomorrow. And so if you're around 282 Rock Street, 11 o'clock, please come and honor him with his family. If ever there was a guy who could get a participation trophy, it was Rudd. All right, friends, I love you all. I'm so glad that you're here and a part of this journey. Peace and grace to you this day and in the days ahead. And we will pick it up next week, next Tuesday. I hope you have a great 4th of July. We'll be worshiping. Oh, by the way, we'll be worshiping at 9 o'clock on Sunday. July and August, we worship at 9 o'clock. So, again, my favorite way to do this is lay out your Sunday morning clothes, and then on top of it, put your bathing suit. So put your bathing suit on first, put your church clothes on over that, come to church, head to the beach. It's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful thing. It's good. You'll love it. All right, friends. Peace and grace to you. We'll pick it up next week with another 11:11.